Thank you for tuning in today for this monthly live broadcast. We are about equipping world-changing disciples. Greetings, I'm Dotson, General Secretary and the Chief Executive Officer of Discipleship Ministries. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Dotson Live. Our goal is to simply help you as leaders and influencers in your church to go to the balcony, pause a minute on the everyday busyness of ministry, to take a 30,000-foot look at what is really going on. I believe most of us have some area where we like to exercise greater leadership and achieve better outcomes. Well, that's where we come in. And I am personally committed to helping you develop stronger and healthier leadership for more effective ministry. Today, I want to talk about your opportunity at Easter. In just a few weeks, we will celebrate Resurrection Sunday. This means you need to be preparing now to expand your opportunities for meaningful discipleship. People will attend your church looking for a new beginning. People will come seeking a fresh start in their lives. Our prayer for those who are seeking Christ for the first time, exploring, or maybe even returning after being gone for a while, should echo the words of the Apostle Paul in his letter to the church at Ephesus. I pray that Christ will live in you as you open the door and invite him in, and that you will be able to feel and understand how long, wide, deep, and high his love really is, and to experience this love for yourselves. This is really the goal of discipleship. And so as you prepare and implement your plans to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, I want to offer 3 ways to ensure that you maximize the opportunity to help people begin this lifelong journey with Jesus. Number 1, emphasize the personal invite. Well, it's true, 90% of everyone who comes to your church will come because they were personally invited. And Easter is one of the few Sundays a year where unchurched people are actually looking for a place to attend. This means that there's even more fruit in the power of the personal invite. So we should mobilize our congregations by equipping them with invite tools. It's one thing to encourage members to invite others to church, but we can amplify these efforts with a few simple tools. I'm sure you could gather a few people together and you could brainstorm a very creative list, but here are just a few ideas. You can print invites the size of a business card, 1,000 of them for less than $10. You can do handwritten invitations, using invitations just like you would use to invite persons to a graduation or to a party. You could give everyone Post-it notes before worship and have them write down the names of persons they would want to invite. Place those notes on walls in the sanctuary or bring them to the altar for prayer. You could utilize social media tools to do invites, to invite friends and followers. But here's the leadership principle. Discipleship begins with relationship. So make sure the very act of extending an invitation is an opportunity for spiritual formation. Set aside time in worship for members to list the names of persons they are inviting. Or if you're sending out invitations, you can host a party for people to handwrite their invitations, and then have a time of intentional prayer for those persons who are being invited to church. You could dedicate a day to simply fasting and praying for every invitation that gets extended in the life of your community. The second thing I would invite you to do is to start new things. You know, people rarely join existing groups, but they are open to new ones. And so Easter represents an unmatched opportunity to start new groups for existing groups, or to announce a new study topic. If you're considering a new ministry, well, this would be the perfect season to launch it. The leadership principle here is that intentional discipleship must create opportunities for people to begin anew. You can release a lot of energy in starting new things. The very process of examining existing ministries and groups with an expectation that people are coming can unleash new creativity. When groups gather and start with the why, watch what happens when you start dreaming anew about reconnecting and engaging with new people. The third thing I would invite you to do is to ask for commitment. You know, leaders are often afraid of scaring people off or falsely believe, hey, it's too soon to ask people for a commitment on Easter. I believe it's the perfect opportunity to communicate with people who are walking toward you rather than away from you. And I believe our faith and how we are growing and maturing in Christ as leaders deeply affects how we ask for this commitment. Remember, when you are inviting people into a life-changing relationship with Christ, well, the key is that we just simply want to be invitational. Your joy and your enthusiasm as a leader will surely be contagious. The leadership principle here is that people are interested in next steps. They want to know what's next, and that includes how to grow spiritually in my life. And so there are various levels of commitment. If you're starting a new message series on that Sunday, you can ask for a commitment for at least 2 weeks. Clearly share, hey, this is what this new series is about. This is how this series will impact your life. And simply say, I want to invite you to commit for the next 2 weeks. And if you commit for the next 2 weeks, I believe it's going to make a significant difference in your life. If you're offering an explorer's class, or maybe a new Bible study, or maybe an existing Bible study group is going to be changing topics, you might say something like, here are a few ways that you can grow spiritually in the life of this congregation this week. Name them, then invite people to commit to one of those opportunities, to take a next step. If you have a clear discipleship system or pathway, take the time to invite people to begin that journey. Remember, it's all about discipleship. We're celebrating the greatest event in the history of the world. Jesus rose from the dead. We celebrate his resurrection. That's such an awesome time to invite people on a lifelong journey into this relationship with a God who cares for them and wants to be in relationship with them. Hey, and when the Easter celebration is over, don't forget to thank God for the vision of your future. Because the gathered community there on Easter, well, that's just a glimpse of the potential your church has to reach people in your community. Now, I'm praying that this Easter changes everything for you personally and for your church. In the words of the Apostle Paul, I pray that you will begin to understand how incredibly great his power is to help those who believe him. The same mighty power that raised Jesus Christ from the dead. We have an incredible team here at Discipleship Ministries who are available to help you in your planning. Don't forget to go to umcdiscipleship.org for help in planning an awesome worship experience. Be very practical helps for your worship experience. There is no better time than the present than to see all the people that God has called us to reach. God bless you, and I'll see you on the mission field.
This has been a production of Discipleship Ministries, an agency of the United Methodist Church. Visit us online at umcdiscipleship.org.